Each and every wipe, one of my first goals is to get a documents case. It's almost necessary for some maps, but it also gives a huge bonus to certain kinds of loot that you can fit into your secure container, which means you get them out of raid whether you die or not. While it does take up 2 spaces, it provides 16 slots that a lot of high volume items can fit in. Things like big and small diaries, bitcoins, folders of intel, SSD drives, and SAS drives can all be placed into a docs case, meaning you have that much more space for those high value items not eating up other slots in your inventory. On top of these big ticket items, keys, key cards, GP coins, currency, maps, and even Veritas's guitar pick can go inside one. As a new player, you have 4 ways to get a documents case. The simplest is just to get to level 15, as at least of making this video, that's where the flea market unlocks at, is level 15, and go and buy one. This, however, is usually the most expensive way about going about it. It will pay for itself, it's still worthwhile if you buy it, but there are other cheaper ways to get it. Next up, you can get one from one of the various mark rooms in Tarkov. This usually means you're fighting your way in, you're fighting your way out, and unless you're lucky, you need to open up a lot of rooms to get one. The next method, and it's the one I usually go to first, is the Barter. At Therapist Loyalty Level 2, which is locked behind level 13, 400k in rubles spent, so this is selling and buying, and a rep of 0.015. So that gets you Loyalty Level 2, and then you get this Barter for a docs case, which is 1 cat, 1 lion, and 4 horses. The sum total is usually quite a bit cheaper than the Barter as well. It doesn't matter what part of the wipe you're in. At the time of making this video, it costs about 130k. So if you're spending 130k to do this, and they're costing 280, 290k, you can already see the savings right there. And that's if you buy all the items. That doesn't count you getting them out of raid and saving the money on the flea market fee from selling them. Just keep in mind this can change drastically throughout the wipe, and make sure you're always double checking to see if the price makes sense. Now, the last way to get a couple of docs cases is through tasks themselves. Punisher Part 5 with Proper and Nostalgia through Jaeger both give you one as a reward. Personally, by the time I get to these tasks, I've usually already got a docs case, so I'm not keeping these. And if I do want additional ones, which sometimes I do, I want more than one in my stash, I will sell the one I get from the task, and then I'll use that money to barter for another one. So I end up with a docs case and some extra money on top of it. Now, as far as being better than a SICC case, this is obviously greatly dependent on your playstyle, the map you're on, and what your goals are for looting in the raid. One of the biggest advantages a SICC case has over a docs case is that you can put dog tags in. Now, this is only an advantage if you want dog tags. If you're chasing dog tags like some weirdo who collects trophies of the people you've slain, maybe think about a SICC case or a therapist, a real one, not the one in the game. For me, for example, when I hit about level 40, I really start to change over into more PvP-centric raids than I do going for tasks or money. I go out and I look for fights and I try to fight, and I want those dog tags. So a SICC case makes sense to me on a lot of different maps. This means that before level 40, I'm usually running a docs case on customs, where after 40, I'm running a SICC case. And this is because before level 40, I'm worried about getting out of raid with loot, task items, and different things like that, and the docs case is just a huge advantage over the SICC case on that map. Especially with as many safes and filing cabinets I loot on customs for my loot runs, the docs case just makes way more sense. On top of this, some maps it's just required to run a docs case. Reserve and Labs offer up a ton of different folders of intelligence on each map, so not having a docs case in your secure container is just gimping yourself. I don't play a ton of Labs, but I do Reserve, and I actually run a docs case and a key tool, so I can carry most of the keys, but still have enough room for intel, thumb drives, diaries, and SSDs. An argument we could be made to run a SICC case and a docs case on Reserve, but that's entirely up to you and what you want to loot and raid. Simply put, if you want to loot, a docs case is your go-to for holding keys and loot. If you're chasing PvP and dog tags, a SICC case is probably what you want to go for. There's only one way to get a SICC case in this game though. And this wasn't always the case. You used to be able to find them in marked rooms, but they were taken out some time ago. Now you have to get Jaeger to loyalty level 4 and spend a hefty sum on some of the barter items to get a SICC case with that barter. It varies as you go through the wipe, but expect to spend anywhere from 800,000 to 2 million rubles to get a SICC case. The biggest advantage of a SICC case over a docs case, besides the dog tags that we talked about, is its size. It offers 25 slots versus the 16 of a doc case. This gives you 9 more slots to fit dog tags, pro kill medallions, bitcoins, and even skull rings. Like I said, for me, I start to run SICC cases more and more at level 40. It's a playstyle thing, and nothing required for anyone else. Play the game how you want, but if you're focusing on PvP and want tags like I do, that's where the SICC case comes into play. The other side is having the extra space for keys. In customs, for example, I have 15 keys that I run now in late wipe, and I can access most everything worthwhile on the map to me. There are more keys, so don't feel limited by what I run, but at 15, I have 10 extra spaces in my SICC case for tags, thumb drives, money, and the occasional skull ring, which are the most common things I get out of customs. If you're running a ton of raids on Shoreline, a SICC case is crazy useful there too. Inside Resort, you tend to find tons of pro kills and skull rings and other items like that go well into the SICC case. Plus, you end up with quite a bit of PvP fighting for that loot, and it gives you that room to put those dog tags in. It also has a ton of keys if you're running a full complement. I have 21. Now, it's probably overkill and I probably run more than other players, but I like being able to get into every room and safe that I come across. Also on Resort, I don't loot many filing cabinets, and I rarely find an intel because there's only a couple of spawns, so a docs case just doesn't make sense. Now, typically each wipe I end up with 2 intel cases, 3 SICC cases, and a key tool. So I run a docs case and a key tool for reserve, another doc case for labs, and then customs, I have a SICC case just for customs. Shoreline has its own. And then lastly, I have one that's a combined for interchange and woods. I just stuff all the keys in there so I don't have to think about it. It's a convenience thing. It's not like any great strategy or anything like that. And whenever I go to run factory, I'll just grab my custom SICC case because it has the factory key in it and I can put dog tags in there. So that's how I get through each wipe. I hope this video was helpful. I'm just trying to explain what I do, help out some folks that may have never gotten here before, and maybe give you a little information you didn't know about. I wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.